It's September 15th, 2020. We're in Mickey Mouse's backyard for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Bubble ball in Florida, baby. Up 3 in overtime, the overachieving Miami Heat can snatch a win, technically on the road, against the favorite Boston Celtics. But with just a smidge over 2 seconds on the clock, the C's have just enough time to send this to double overtime. It's already been an unpredictable year, so anything can happen. But before we see what comes next, let's rewind. It's nuts that Miami is here. This franchise being seconds away from stealing Game 1 of the conference finals, let alone being competitive at all in the postseason, seemed unlikely years ago. But this is a new chapter of Heat basketball, led by a new star, shining during unprecedented times. Following the end of the Big Three era, the organization struck out on landing a star to replace LeBron James, and instead doubled down by extending free agents who fit Heat culture. Unselfish players ready to grind the hardest they can to find success. To Miami's credit, they established a distinct identity while smoothly developing undervalued prospects into solid players. But culture didn't amount to wins. Midway through the 2018 season, rival executives were stunned at how a premier franchise slipped into the dumps. They had average players tied up to big deals and poor draft capital, leaving journalists to believe it would be impossible for them to escape their purgatory. But this offseason, Miami landed 4-time All-Star Jimmy Butler in a massive multiple-team trade. Experts applauded Miami's brass for finessing the move, but the jury was still out. With Butler entering his 9th season, journalists worried about the mileage on his body, and while he was certainly an upgrade, media members believed the team had to add another playmaker to be legit competitors in the East. Plus, Jimmy was a unique type of star. With each stop throughout his career, Jimmy never seemed satisfied. He came into the league as an overlooked prospect who worked his ass off and expected his peers to match their energy. Something he made very apparent in a now infamous practice session where he challenged the entire Timberwolves organization. Except, it was that type of sicko attitude toward the game that drew Butler to Miami. When Jimmy arrived, Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra thought he should have been in Miami ages ago. Jimmy's crazed energy could be fostered in South Beach. They were a perfect match. Jimmy immediately became the centerpiece, answering any doubts on how he would look as the unquestioned number 1 guy. Around Jimmy, Miami did what they do best. Found diamonds in the rough and turned them into productive players, rounding out one of the league's most balanced rosters. But even with their new leader, Miami had room to grow. By late March of the season, Miami held the 4th seed in the East. And as they geared up for the playoffs, the world crumbled around them. On March 11th, the NBA shut down the league due to the raging COVID-19 virus. After what felt like years stuck in the house entertained by shit like Tiger King, the league managed to successfully bring back hoops months later in a summer camp-style controlled bubble at the Walt Disney Resort in Florida. Hoopers played beach volleyball in their off time, went fishing, and Jimmy in particular thrived as an entrepreneur starting his own coffee business. As Butler found his new passion for slanging cappuccinos off the court, he and the Heat flourished on it. While Miami didn't appear to be a threat, sloppily finishing the season as the 5th seed, they wrecked shit when it mattered most. Behind unreal performances from Jimmy, the underdog Heat swept the Pacers in the first round, then went on to smoke the number 1 seeded Bucks to set up a conference showdown against the Celtics. It's been an incredible run, and Jimmy has Miami in position to possibly become the first 5th seed to make the NBA Finals. In tonight's game, the supporting cast mostly held things down, but Jimmy pulled through in the clutch. Down 14 at the top of the 4th, Butler helped get right back in the thick of it, hitting shots, forcing turnovers, and finding the open man in key spots. Facing a 2-point deficit with less than 30 seconds to play, Butler got shifty before draining a tray, giving Miami the late advantage. However, on the Celtics' ensuing inbound, the Heat got hit with a strange foul, sending Boston to the line where they took the game to OT. But in overtime, Jimmy kept working his magic. Down 1 with the shot clock turned off, Jimmy took the ball near the top of the key and finished with a tough and 1 to give the Heat a late lead. Miami wouldn't be this far without Butler, and here he was again lifting them to the top. But this thing ain't over yet. With a touch under 3 seconds, Boston has a chance to send this to double OT. Similar to the Heat, the Celtics entered a new era this season, which mostly lands on the shoulders of this dude who could keep them alive. While Miami floundered, Boston remained one of the top teams in the East, stacked with a talented roster. This dude played a part in keeping them out of the NBA Finals, but a top squad doesn't amount to much if the vibes are off. When Kyrie Irving walked in free agency this offseason, the franchise turned the keys over to their fresh-faced duo, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The two had already proved they were past the driver's edge stage, nearly making the finals without Kyrie years prior. As the Young Bucks took over, media members didn't think championship or bust, but with the addition of veteran point guard Kemba Walker to replace Irving and Bron out west, the C's were expected to be a heavy hitter in the East. It all hinged on this fella. Boston drafted Tatum 3rd overall in 2017, and this season, he truly proved he's one of the league's new stars. Without Kyrie, the Celtics ran a less ball-dominant offense that benefited the entire team, but Tatum especially comfortably slipped into the role of Boston's new number 1, earning his first All-Star nod. And as impressive as his regular season was, Jay went crazy in the bubble. In Boston's first-round matchup against Philly, Tatum lit up the Sixers in an easy sweep where he dropped back-to-back 30 balls to open the series. Then in the next round, shut down the defending champs with a dominant closeout Game 7. With Tatum as the X factor, experts favored Boston over Miami, and early on in tonight's matchup, Tatum proved why. There wasn't a spot on the floor he couldn't get to and do damage. Pull-up transition 3, butter. Mid-range step back, oof. The dude was green nearly all night and entered the final quarter with 23 points. Heat defenders put the clamps on him in the 4th and clawed back into the game, but after that strange foul down the stretch, Tatum knocked down the clutch free throw to tie the game. Boston had time to finish it in regulation, drawing up a last-second shot for Tatum, but he came up just short on a deep 3. In overtime, though, he dusted it off. Boston looked his way early and often, and especially in a pivotal moment. Down 2 with 12 seconds remaining, Tatum caught the rock near half court and surveyed the floor before making his first move. Was he setting up for another deep 3? Nope, he cooked Jimmy with a nasty cross, got downhill with a clear path to the rim, but hold up. Someone's about to get embarrassed. Who's that sliding into the lane about to get put on a poster? The hell is that man thinking? Miami drafted Bam Adebayo 14th overall in 2017. As a big-bodied, versatile 6'9" defender, NBA scouts rated Bam highly, but his lack of offensive production in college saw him slide down the board. University of Kentucky coaches strongly told franchises that Bam was a do-it-all dude who could come up with key defensive stops like a huge block in critical moments. But more than anything, Bam stunned Heat brass during his private workouts. After running drills to the point of exhaustion, one section stuck out in particular. When asked to switch on to perimeter players, Bam flawlessly executed the move and let Miami executives know exactly who they were dealing with. Cussing out the very dudes in control of your future is a bold strategy, but that type of crazed energy is exactly what the franchise loved, and they knew they needed him. Bam spent his first 2 seasons predominantly on the bench, backing up Hassan Whiteside, but when he got chances on the floor, he showed signs he could be a menace on defense. During his second year in a matchup against Milwaukee, Giannis tried to boom on Bam, but Bam met him at the rim to come up with a clean block. Here was one of the most ferocious finishers in the NBA, getting denied by a dude off the bench. Entering this season, Bam's opportunities were endless. Miami shipped off Whiteside in the deal to land Jimmy, which opened up room for Bam. With more minutes on the floor, he terrorized opponents. He had the strength down low to bang with bigs and the quickness to step out on the wing to stick speedier guards. With his versatility and great feel for the game, Bam anchored the Heat defensively, backing his teammates on switches and various schemes. His defense alone was incredibly valuable, but with more touches, Bam got to flex his offensive bag, proving he could get it done on both ends. The Heat as a collective worked well as Jimmy's sidekick, but if anyone was Robin to Jimmy's Batman, it was Bam. He solidified himself in the regular season as an all-star, but Bam has been the key to Miami's unexpected playoff run. He spent most of the season as a power forward, but Coach Spo switched him to a full-time small ball 5 during the playoffs in a move that leveled up the Heat on both sides of the ball. He's been crucial to Miami's success in the postseason, especially in the past round, taking on the nearly impossible task of slowing down Giannis. And tonight against Boston, he kept rolling. Whether it was bullying folks in the paint or locking down spots 1 through 5, Bam made his presence felt the entire game. But his performance in making Tatum's life a living hell down the stretch specifically stood out. On this possession in overtime, watch Bam man the middle of the floor, slide out to Tatum at the three-point line, and force him into an ugly sidestep 3, leading to an easy dunk on the other end. Perfection. Bam's been in Tatum's grill throughout OT, but Tatum could dramatically get his payback. He's surely about to yam on him, right?
Got downhill, couldn't punch it. Bam says, get it out of here.
Holy shit. Not only could that possibly be the game-sealing block, but just look at how much force Tatum came with. Bam's left wrist damn near snapped keeping that ball out the rim. And with Boston forced to foul, Bam could finish them off at the free throw line. Okay, a little strong on that one, but he sank the second, which brings us here. In what's already been a wild-ass year, a dramatic ending to take our minds off things, even for a second, couldn't be better. 2 organizations entering new eras, each equipped with young stars ready to take over the league. But only one can punctuate a win for their team tonight. Welcome to a moment in history.
Do they foul or not? We'll see if they do it on the catch. Not. Tatum makes the catch. Got it off in time! Online, but no good. And the Heat win game 1.
Yo, thanks for watching this episode of Rewinder. Just want to take the time to give a special shout out to our top secret agents. You too can get your name up on the screen if you become a $10 patron, which gets you exclusive access to early releases, new episodes of John's series, our new podcast, The Annex, Dorktown columns, mailbags, and more. And we'll always still be pumping out fire content right here on YouTube. So don't forget to like and subscribe and keep on coming back. Thanks guys. Peace.